believe Mike's possibly having a little bit of technical issues there.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this fantastic event, Giro d'Europa. Off to a great start there. I was just too keen, got going before the mic was unmuted. But I'm here with Riley Harvey. Evening Riley, how are you doing?
Evening Mike, good to see you.
So you can see us here, we're in the lovely sunny Cap Formentor, where we're going to be kicking off with stage 1. We've got 5 races coming up for you this week, and this is going to be an absolute blast, I think. So this is the list for the week. Cap Formentor, Riley's going to give us his thoughts on the course in just a second. Then tomorrow, De Ronda. We've got the flat crit race at Tempelhof Airport on Wednesday, off to Italy for the Pienza course, another hilly one on Thursday, and then finishing on the gravel course at 30 Riva on Friday. So, Riley, you've been on the course a few times, you've done a run through. Let's hear your thoughts on what the riders have got in store for them today.
Well, Cap Formentor is a beautiful course. It's one that I've rode in real life quite a few times, and one that I enjoy riding the virtual frequently. I'll start you off on the coasts, and these nice flat roads will get your engines really up to speed. There's 515 metres of climbing. That's really split into 2 climbs. The first climb, more steadier gradients. It'll enable the racers to get themselves into a set tempo and really power up that climb before descending down through some tight hairpins, and then they'll attack the second climb. The second climb is a little bit more erratic. There's a few descents thrown in there. The gradient doesn't really stick at any one set gradient for a long period. Once you've crested that, you drop down again before coming towards some final tight hairpins and a little bit of tight gradient steepness to get to the final destination, the lighthouse itself. I think we'll see some breaking up of the groups. There'll be a separation on the first climb, further separation on the second climb as we get down to the real winning groups. And then we'll see on the hairpins towards the end, I think we'll see some final efforts from those that have still got the legs that will really split them away from the riders behind them. Got quite a lot of people racing tonight, so it'll be a fast pace. There'll be a lot of drafting going on in these descents. Yeah, really looking forward to seeing some fast, exciting racing.
Yeah, so today is the 3rd race of stage 1. We have 3 races every day, so we can allow as many people from around the world to take part as possible. So we're going to recap now race 1 and race 2. So race 1 that kicked off this event, we had a few riders here from around the world, including Julian Fussell and Warren G from the SDW club, and Asda McAlpine, the Scottish rider, who pulled away on that initial climb, left these guys behind, Martin Skudlarek as well in this early morning slot. And it was McAlpine who took the win by over 3 minutes from Warren G here. And then the second race, we had a bit of a battle between the Aussies and the Americans. We had around 50 starters in this event. We had the ODZ team with Jason Flo, Jerry Delport, Denning there. They were doing well to ride together. But it was these 3, Alex Rockwell, Sam Kimber, David Daly. They set the early pace and tempo. Daly dropped round about a few kilometres from the end before Kimber then pulled away from Rockwell to take the win in that lunchtime slot, 30 seconds ahead of Rockwell, and you can see there on those switchbacks, Daly 30 seconds further back. Good to see David Daly back. He's been away for a while. So here's the times from those first 2 time slots, which Riley is now just going to run through.
Yeah, you can see Alistair McAlpine there with a massive watt per kilogram over the other riders that he was with, finishing at 41 minutes 27, and Warren G 44 minutes 42, and Martin Skudlarek there at 45 minutes 36. And in the race 2 there, we've got Sam Kimber managing to get it under the 40-minute mark. Again, he's pushing out some watts per kilogram at 4.44 watts per kilogram. Alex Rockwell there, just over the 40-minute mark, 40 minutes 21, and David Daly in at 41 minutes. All generally faster in that second race there. Yeah, we're looking forward to some really high-paced racing now coming up in this next race.
Yeah, we've got a lot of riders here. We've got 87 currently on the start line, 3 minutes out. And that's on this first bit, we've got 5 kilometres before we hit that first climb. We're going to get some drafting there. So that's going to save them a little bit of energy before they hit that first climb, which is around about 9 minutes at at race pace, probably a little bit under for this group. We've got the overall leaderboard here just to combine the first 2 races of the day. We've got Sam Kimberden at the top, under 40 minutes. Alex Rockwell in second, and David Daly currently in third. Alistair McAlpine from that early time slot, 5th place. We'll bring you the updated results once they've been filtered in from this evening race. And we've also got some prizes. So we've got a live prize draw, and Riley's got all the details on those prizes.
Yeah, so we've got some mugs available. So the winners of each day are going to be receiving a mug, the Giro d'Europa mug. But that's only if they've registered for the prize draw, and the details for that are on VCN Facebook page, and they're blasted all over on their RGT DB as well. We're also going to be looking at the rider of the day. So we've got an Element hydration salt prize for those, an electrolyte drink mix. And after the event, we're going to put a live poll up on Facebook, and we're encouraging everybody to go over to the RGT users page and vote for the rider that they think's been the most aggressive, the most combative, the most enjoyable to watch of the day. So get over there and vote for your favourite rider, and they've got themselves a chance then of winning a prize. I do stress that they do need to register for the prize giveaways though, otherwise we don't know who the riders are, so we need the name that they use in-game and also a current email address that we can contact them on if they do win. So the details for that are over on the VCN Facebook page and on the RGT DB page. So head over there and check those out.
Right, great stuff. We're now just about a minute from the start. Look at that, that pen is absolutely packed. Just under 100 riders in there then. So we've got quite an absolute hot pen of favourites. There's me, I've got my race kit on now. Quickly swapped out, I'm going to be racing today and commentating. I'm also going to be going live to Tom Gates as well at some point during the race to get his view on proceedings. I can see Walter Place is there, Andrew Pajaski. There's Tom Gates. Hi Tom. Hi. Give us a wave. Got 20 seconds, so I'll try not to distract you as we approach the start of this race. I'm going to get into race mode. I'm going to hand you back to Riley, who's going to describe the early action.
So we're 5 seconds out from the racing now. You can see that it's a stacked field, and we're expecting it to be lightning fast off the line here into this flat area on the promenade of Formentor. It's Port de Polenta, so it's a nice flat area here for the riders to really get themselves up to speed. And you can see that John, by the way, is the rider in focus, and he's pushing out 385 watts there. His power number's going red as he's really cranking out the watts to keep in with the group here. Anyone who's not been over to Port de Polenta, it's a fantastic area, beautiful bay. Now we can see Hida down there, one of the Danish riders in the mix there. Very good time trialling rider, and a tight packed group there. We're on this promenade for a little while on this flat area, and then we hit at the end of the promenade, we go into the pedestrianised area, and then we hit a hard left, right, left combination, which is sure to trigger the auto braking feature in RGT. And anyone who's off the back there will find themselves struggling a little bit at that point to stick with the pack. So you'd be wise to position yourself at the front of the group as we're heading into that area. I see Ostergaard is racing there. I can see Ryan Miller, Wouter Claes, strong rider. And already Hida down there pushing off the front, putting in a strong effort. Loving the flat terrain.
Yeah, he's got a big engine as Hida down. You know, he's got some pure power. Already he's setting his stall out, going off the front. Maybe just trying to open up a little bit of a gap before we hit that first climb. Bag himself a few seconds ahead of the pack. But that's 5 kilometres out, so we've still got a few minutes before we hit that. It's going to be challenging. It looks like the pack's just settling in behind. They know they've got that time to come. That's going to be where they're going to be putting in an early effort. So I think the pack are just keeping themselves nice and dry, not going too deep too early, saving their legs for when it matters.
See Francois Eicher there at the front end of things. He's been training from Baston Liège Baston. He's very fit at the moment. Come off a great summer season, jumped back onto the turbo just for this series of racing. Expect him to be going crazy on the hills. He does love climbing. Hiederdam dropped off the front there. He's gone back into the pack. And Austin making an effort off the front of the group now.
I imagine this is good training for Francois, because that's a very up and down route, hilly route that he'll be taking on, just like this series. So he'll have some elements of rest, but also some elements of going deep as well. So I'm sure this will be a good training block for him, and we wish him all the best in that event.
I'm sure he'll be successful. I've seen some of the training rides he's done in real life, and much longer, much faster than I could ever hope to do. He's a great rider. It's good to see him back on the platform again as the summer season is coming to a close for some of the riders. You're just going onto the paved pedestrian area now, and keep your eyes open. In a little while we'll be hitting this hard left right hand turn. You see Hugard's there, gone off the front.
Yeah, I think my rain dance helped a little bit. It's got a bit cloudier here in the UK. It was supposed to be a heat wave, which obviously would have meant a lot of people riding outside. It's been a little bit cloudier, so people getting involved, which is great.
So you mentioned before about Hiederdam going off the front, and I see that there are quite a few Danish riders in the grouping here. I wonder whether any of that is team tactics or friend tactics, that they're riding together and trying to soften the pack up a little bit for one of their preferred recognised riders going off the front.
It is an individual competition. So you might have teammates, you might have some team tactics, but ultimately it's all about the individual competition. And there's a lot of riders here, a lot of teams, so I don't think any one team is going to be able to dominate.
See that heart there is going up with Hiederdam, and I see Bas Schack. Name showing up for the first time there. Doug Hart there, he's pushing out steady 380 watts. It's a good solid power. And we've got speeds of 42 kilometers per hour. We just go into a slight descent here. Very soon you're going to start seeing a little slowing of the pace, as there's a bit of false flat before we get into the climb proper.
We see a little bit of separation then. Little group of 6 or 7, currently with a 25-metre gap. This is pack at the moment. It's holding together, but it's very shortly, as we hit that climb up ahead, it's going to blow to bits.
If you keep your eyes open, you've just spotted some of the riders there using the look behind feature there, just twisting the head of the avatar around to catch the rear view and see how many riders they're taking with them on this group, and see whether they've created splits, see whether they need to push. But we're just coming into the bottom of the Tramontana Mountains now, and this is where the climbing starts proper. Expect to see Doug Hart will go hard with Clay, so I think we'll see Francois Eicher coming to the front here. Tom Gates on the screen there. Hi Tom. Tom's concentrating hard, keeping his position in there. Gradient's crept up already to 8% on this section, now 9%. Cresting 11% on this hairpin running through. Heated Am still strong on the front there. And Rasmus Feldball falling in behind him. And just behind him, Bash Shack and the rest of the group. Also see Nick Hall in that group of chasers, very proficient racer, not been on the platform for a little while. This is the easier of the two climbs in my opinion. It's a little bit harder, it's steeper gradients, but it is a little bit more consistent, so it's easier to get yourself set into a tempo. The second of the climbs a little bit more erratic. No sooner have you found the right gear than you're having to change it again. Nick Hall's there trying to make the bridge across to the Feldball Heiderdam group. And just opening up a gap on the pack there. There was a comment in one of the earlier races today, and the racer said, "Who made this course?" Somebody more used to racing on Zwift races, but I think it is a pretty challenging course for one of these races. Nick Hall's been joined by Bash Shack there, the pair of them trying to work together. As Krajowski of Rasio Racing just moves away from the front of the pack. Seeing the option to bridge here, he's pushing hard to meet up with Bash Shack and Nick Hall. Christoph Conton, and we've got Tom Gates just behind him there. They can see him going, but I don't think there's much they can do about Krajowski there making the bridge. See Krajowski there just judging his efforts to get up. Back with Tom Gates. Tom's pushing out 400 watts there. See the pain written all over his face as he tries to stay with Mike Lister there.
There's pain on my face too. Don't worry, Tom.
With Mike there, pushing out 300 watts over there. You can see this is an aggressive race with a contorting of Mike's face there. Krajowski not quite made it to Rasmus Feldball and Bash Shack there, but James Melville just flew up to him there. And we see that this race is being strung out on these early climbs. And don't forget we've still got another climb of around about 250 metres to go. Heiderdam, Feldball not working together at the moment. Heiderdam's pushed on a little bit and opened a gap up on Feldball. There isn't much of a draft advantage to be had at these sorts of speeds and these slopes. And Feldball saw the wrist there from Heiderdam, just closed the gap up. He needs to keep them in sight as to go over the top here. Hidadam's fairly weighty rider. He'll be descending hard, and he'll be pushing out of every one of these hairpins to try and get every bit of advantage. And there we see that the James, Melville, Krajowski, Bashak group all together there. Nick Hall just dragging them forwards on these slopes, 8%. Krajowski just distant slightly, but I think he'll see that gap. He'll close it very quickly. Race leaders, 14.9 kilometers to go. They've got a chase group. This group that we're watching has got 12 seconds. But the bigger descend much faster, so it will change over this crest of this hill. Be interesting to see what the difference is of the descent of a pack of 4 compared to the speed of the 2 lead right here. 14 seconds might not be enough of a gap for them to get to the bottom still in the lead. Nick Hall still on the front doing all the work in this chase group. Melville, Krajowski and Shaq there. Oh, Melville, seeing that the tempo's dropped slightly, he's pushed onto the front. And Hall responding to stick to his wheel. Krajowski, we've watched in many of the Monday night Ratio racing pop-up events. He's an exceptionally strong rider. He's got some good skill. Back with the lead riders now, and they are not too far away from the lookout point. If you do ride this route in real life, there's a fantastic lookout point just at the top where they're going to crest over, but they won't be enjoying that view. Joris Shepherd's, Christophe Contan there in this chasing group. Mike Lister there as well. Luca Verest joining us on this series now. Joris Shepherd's one of the first people to Everest on RGT. He likes it when it's going up. A little bit further back down the group here. Got Janssens, Gavache of TMC. Lopez. And just behind him there's Marshall. And Tom Gates just distant slightly there down at 25th position. Slightly in no man's land before we've got Mike Garwood and Samud there just chasing onto him. Just wondering whether Tom might just drop back slightly there. And here we can see the lead riders on the descent now. I think it's a slightly flat section they just entered. You can see them put the power down again to sprint through this flat section. Hidadam taking the lead again from Rasmus Feldberg. They're both putting out high watt numbers there, up in the 8 watt per kilogram. Feldberg keeping the power on slightly longer there, overtaking Hidadam. And see that these sharp hairpin corners are activating the auto braking of RGT, and it's pushing them there, slowing them down, having to stamp on the power as they come off those hairpins to get themselves back up to descending speed. You can see the second group on the road, Melville, Krajowski, Nick Hall there, all working together descending, all enjoying each other's draft. It's hard to judge what the distance is there in time. I've got it up on the screen there at 16 seconds. You see the chase group coming in there to that hairpin. You see it rolling round, and they're just enjoying the descent here. You can't see the power numbers. They're not pushing as hard as the riders in the lead group are. I don't think they're understanding quite what effort they need to put in there to reel in Rasmus Feldberg and Hidadam.
I think, Riley, sort of holding that gap just under 200 metres to the second group on the road, but we have got the benefit of a larger group, which is helping our overall speed a little bit. So we're not quite needing to power out quite so much. We're not closing, that is probably true, but we are just holding it at the moment. We've still got this pack, and that second hill, the portion of it is a bit gentler, so there will be a draft in play.
It's very true, Mike, but if they're holding you off as a group of two and actually increasing the time gap, I think you may be underestimating these two riders slightly without putting the efforts in now to close the gap and reel them back in.
That is the risk, but I'm also trying to remember this is a 5-day event. We're only on day one, so we don't need to go too crazy just yet. We don't want to blow up on this second half of the course and then be destroyed for the rest of the week. But yeah, you're right, we don't want to give them too much rope, so it's then insurmountable later on in the week. Fine margins, calculations as ever.
Felbal and Hederdam there have just gone past the Formentor Beach car park, and then we can see Doug Hart's doing the same. One of my favourite places to pull off and have a coffee overlooking the sea. Half the riding done. No such luck for these guys. Hederdam pushing on there at the front, Felbal trying to keep with him, but Hederdam just does seem to be unconsciously opening a gap on him repetitively. And you can see in the second group there, Krajewski and Melville, Doug Hart all grouped together, Bashak. As Mike said, they'll be enjoying
Group 3 is not, well, I say we're not too far behind, Riley. It's only 50 metres now.
And as you say, Mike, you're having the benefit of enjoying each other's drafts, so you'll be saving energy that way. Hederdam just eased on the power there to let Falbal go through, and a little bit of a... He eased off slightly too much, and Falbal's taken the lead, opened a gap. Hederdam's having to put the effort in there to reel him back in again. He's up at 350 watts, Hederdam. Erasmus Felbal just sitting on his wheel most of the time, not taking too much of the lead riding. Looking behind Hederdam there, and can't see any chasers at the moment, so that usually means that there's about 150 metres gap opened up. It's got a time of 18 seconds. Rasmus Felbal just helping on the front for a moment there, 350 watts. Hederdam has run back through again and already opened a little gap. So you see Nick Greenhouse there, bridging across to the chase group. Got three main groups on the road here. We've got Krajewski Melville group there. We've got Nick Greenhouse, also of Ratio Racing, bridging up to his teammate. I think we'll see the second and third groups on the road merging together, and then it'll just be a all-out chase for them to try and catch up with these two lead riders. Melville there pushing through and off the front on that second group on the road. Just trying to keep the pace and the tempo high. Krajewski is easing slightly, enjoying the drafting benefit. I think he knows that his teammate's trying to get across to them, so he's not trying to help too much on the front there. See Daniel Cadiz there in the group. It's the first time I spotted him.
Yeah, Cadiz has gone across, Doug Hart has come back. The group's around about 100 metres at the moment ahead.
Daniel Cadiz there is a great time trialist. I think he might be national champion for his country. He's pushing out 270 watts. Steady heart rate of 162 there. Nick Hall there just behind him in the Friday Crit team colours. At the front here it's going a bit lively. In front of this group with James Melvin and Krajewski pushing off the front a little bit there. I thought that Krajewski was slowing for his teammate Nick Greenhalgh to catch up, but I don't know whether he's judged it that Nick's not going to make the gap or whether he was just trying to make things interesting for the riders in the group with. Krajewski just sitting back in the wheels again there. You can see his power bars turn into blue for a moment. He's almost completely easing up on the power. And then he's just hitting it again at 400 watt effort. Make sure he doesn't get dropped out.
Producer team might just have one eye on the Riley's Rider competition. So element for like recharge drink. Hold on Facebook. This event is finished.
Yeah, please do get your votes in for the rider you think's the most invigorating, the most combative of the ride, one that's entertained you most.
I can do a song if that will help with the entertainment.
A little bit further back on the road here, we've got Francois Riker, who's just eased up slightly for the group behind him to catch. And he's just sitting back into the wheels there. And Marshall just being reeled in by Mike Garwood there. Luca Forrest in the Austin's group. Samu's back in this group as well. This is the competition tonight that's being voted for. Facebook is for the Element Hydration. It's a fantastic product. There's 30 sticks in each pack and really good to help with any cramps that you have. You have issues on the road with cramps, so you take the Element Hydration in your water bottle and it greatly eases that. Just with Tom Gates here. I don't know if you can hear me, Tom. How are you finding the ride so far? How are you finding the racing?
Yeah, it's really hard. I'm just really not a good climber, so I'm very much up the back now. In the group riding for position 22, I think. 22 to 30, something like that. And just trying to hang on there, but even in that group, most riders are better climbers than I am. So just trying to hang on.
Oh, don't forget, Tom, it's a 5-day series, so I'm sure there's some great racing left in this series for you. Got some flatter courses coming up for definite.
I'm really looking forward to stage 3.
You say you're not doing that well, but position 28 is pretty good. We're back with Nugbo back there in 30th and Ostergaard back in 31st. Alex Plager, Ryan Miller and Torelio. There's some really good racers here that are just a little bit further down the rankings than perhaps you'd expect. They've been knocked out of that main group a little bit earlier than would have expected. Australia in 34th position there. It's 270 watts. Still putting out some effort to keep up these positions. And as mentioned, it is a series, so it's the whole week that counts, not just a day. Rob Miller, 373 watts there. That's the sort of effort you have to put in to give a decent time on these kind of gradients. So if you're watching the stream via Facebook, then don't forget to follow the page ZMS Livestream. If you're watching on YouTube, then give us a like and subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you'll know whenever we're live with other races. And we're going to be live tomorrow night, obviously, with the next in this series. We're back in 36th position with Eveling. 37th, got Oksuzoglu. Kolvig, back in 38th. Behind him, we've got a little grouping of John By the Way, Suhard, and I think that's Caroline Reuter. Back in 41st position there. John By the Way sporting the RGT Founders kit. He likes the climbing, John. Up at 3.2 watts per kilogram there. Yeah, that is Caroline Reuter, just behind John By the Way there, who was the winner of the VLF at this time of year last year. John letting on for the camera. Caroline will be challenging hard to be the first of the ladies to cross the line. She's been immortalised by her own bot in the game after the performance she put in last year. So if you see a Caroline riding round in a yellow jersey, it's quite often the bot. Caroline Reuter back with the front of the race here now. Now we've got Rasmus Falbal and Hiram still pushing. 4.7 kilometres left to go. Looking back on the road there, I can't see any riders in view. We've got 500 metres back to James Melville there. So these two have really judged this well. They've opened up a massive gap. Oh, Felbo dropped out there. Oh, he's had a virtual or physical mechanical. He's got back going again. Wow, he's going to have to work hard if he's going to get back to Felbal. His power's dropped there. It is always possible. We're riding real bikes, so it's possible to drop a chain, have a problem with your gearing, and it can be quite difficult to get that going and back underway. Pushing out 4.5 watts per kilogram. I think Melville might have seen that his power is outed and he's chasing hard there. He's broke away from the group that he's with, Kadirs and Krajowski. Nick Hall being distanced by Krajowski there. As you see, Daniel Kadirs a little bit further up the road, and in front of him, then we've got Melville, who I think may have just seen that power outage from Felbal and is seeing it as a time to attack. Heededam still powering away at the front of this race. I've seen him do some great time trials. He's really got sustained power. Back with the chase group here. It's all exploded with those little bits of efforts from James Melville, Kadirs and Krajowski. Christophe Contant in the back of the group here with the Pedalers team. Just reeling back in Nick Hall there.
Oh, I'm struggling
meters.
in the middle of this. A bit further back, I got dropped from that group. I'm in no man's land at the minute, in 15th place. I'm just not too far from the summit of Hill 2, so hopefully I've got enough distance that I can stay away from the chase.
That's right, Mike. Protect your position, protect your time. But it's important that you don't go too deep in this one of 5 series. Just catching back in with Tom there. Can you tell us what position you're in, Tom?
The group of 27 to 29. Just on the flat section of the climb. Trying to get a bit of recovery now.
Fantastic. Can see that you're working hard there. Rasmus Felbal there is keeping away from James Melville. But it looks like it's a certainty for Hederdam there. He's opened up a gap of 370 metres after Felbal's momentary pause there. That's how quick these gaps can open up. Back on the group of Wouter Claes, Joyce Shepherd's there. See a rider just off the front there. And I think it's, yeah, Smith. He's got a little gap of 21 metres there, but this group is going to fairly quickly swallow him up, I think. We've got 3 kilometres left to go. Angus Smith putting out a steady 200-ish watts there, just so as he spiked up to 500. He's not keen on being caught. Pushing out of those corners, trying to eke every little bit of advantage.
No one's keen on getting caught.
There is occasionally a tactical advantage in getting in the draft for a little while, recovering.
Yeah, sometimes it's better in a pair. Live to fight another day. I'm trying to catch my nemesis on the road, Nick Greenall.
You just see a rider dangling out in front of Angus Smith there. I think it might be his plan to catch that lone rider and the pair of them work as a team to keep away this group of Wouter Claes, Verchik and Rubaud. But I really don't think he's going to make it. Krajowski's out in 4th position, Daniel Cadiz behind him. But we're back up with Hederdam here, and in the distance we can see the goal, the lighthouse. Got a nice little bit of descending here for Hederdam before we come into the final switchbacks that lead up to the lighthouse. The final bit of elevation. Hederdam see that and they'll be giving him a lot of impetus to get there. Felbel behind him, he's got 200 metres over Melville. Now see Hederdam has just entered this 9% section. These final switchbacks are a killer. After you've raced all that distance, it just hits you like a wall. Kicking, changing gradient, kicking back up again. Not what you need when your legs are already fatigued. But he's going to come in, and I think that's looking like a time that will take him into 1st place in the series. Not quite there yet, but it's been a fantastic ride by Hederdam. Felbal just entering those switchbacks there. Let's see Hederdam come up round this last switchback. power all the way to the line and come in at a time of 37 minutes and 30. So start countdown to rider number 2, Feldbau. I've got 2 more to go before he hits the finish line. Oh, you can see Melville behind him. 46 metres separating the two. Melville is pushing at his absolute limit here to reel in Rasmus Feldbau and bring back as much time as he can. I think Feldbau is just about going to hang on. He's going to have to give it his everything to keep Melville away though. Melville pushing really hard here. Feldbau round that last hairpin. You can see safety. And that's it. He's home. 42 seconds after. And there's Melville. Slightly further behind. See Daniel Cadiz there. Opened up a gap in Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski back in 5th position there. Daniel Cadiz coming round these last few turns. That's Cadiz home in a time of 1 minute and 10 after the lead rider. Kwiatkowski 1 minute 14. Some fantastic times for all these riders. And Nick Hall, Rubo, Wouter-Claes and Contant fighting it there at the last bit. And Joris Sheppers. Angus Smith coming in 11th position. And Verchi just behind him. And Doug Hart, who was out of the lead group for a long time at the beginning of this race before dropping back slightly. Finding it hard on these last few hairpins. He's going to come through in 13th. Nick Greenhouse chasing hard on his wheels. Nick Greenhouse here pushing his last little bit. Power red, every little bit, leave it on the road. And then our very own Mike Lister coming home in 15th position. Back with the grouping now at the bottom of the hairpins. We've got Gav Ash, Lopez, and Francois Eicher there. Be interesting, we've not got long to go now to see who comes over. Take 16th position. Will be a final sprint for many of these riders. Looks like Lopez is just going to take over Francois Eicher's. Oh, Gav Ash. Come through there. Gav Ash, Francois Eicher's and Lopez. As we're seeing the top 10 coming through there now. Oh, my mistake, it was Dubray came through earlier on. Back in the group and now Mike Garwood just being passed there. Janssens just sneaking the place off him there. Garwood didn't have the power to challenge. And Luca Vorest and Rowbottom, another one of the Rasio Racing guys. So we come through with Samu there. Back with Marshall. 26th position, I think this is Lee Marshall. Still very respectable times, coming in at 3 minutes and 54 after the leader. It's Austin and Gates here battling for the position. Gates just taking the inside line there and beating Austin to the line by seconds, milliseconds.
Well, I'll tell you what, Riley, that was as expected, a challenging, difficult ride. I, as always, got dropped just by the tunnel. That bit just kicked up again, and there's a bit of a killer on the legs. I then had Nick Greenall to chase. He gave me a little bit of a target, which was great. And then, yeah, I just tried to hang on for those last few rollers. Once you press that second hill, it's not too bad. There's some superb times there. Casper Heiderdam, as we thought he would do, put in a stunning performance. 37.30. But it's all open. I say down to 15th place, which is myself. We're all under 40 minutes, but there's only one person from the early slot under 40 minutes, so everyone else coming in now are going to be well within the series leaderboard. So all of those results will be up on rgtdb.com once all of the results are in. So we're going to bring you the top 20 in a moment. But yeah, we're going to be over 100 finishes in total, so looks like it's going to be a very competitive series. 4 days worth. I hope these riders have got their recovery regimes organised. Got a nice recovery drink and some Element electrolyte recharge as well to get the salts back into my legs.
Yeah, it is only the first race of the series, so we're all within touching distance. I think Tom was saying that he's looking forward to the flatter stages where he's hoping he'll make some time up on all these riders who are enjoying the hills at the moment. But there's a little bit in there to suit everybody's riding style.
Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow we go to De Ronde, which will be a slightly shorter course as well. We've got 2 laps of that. That's around about 16 kilometres. And then Tempelhof, as we said, there's a completely flat race, Pienza, and then Dirty Riva as well at the end. That's got some fairly flat sections where the guys with the big engines can lay down some watts. But here's our top 20 then in the series standings after race 1 from Capital Mentor. You can see there Casper Heidedam at the top currently, followed by his Danish compatriot Rasmus Valbau in second, and then James Malville, who did well, attacked. As always with James Malville, he's a very aggressive rider, maybe one to consider for Riley's Rider of the Day. We'll get a poll up on Facebook, but feel free to add your own riders. Daniel Cadiz, strong Chilean rider. Krajewski, and big engine, beating Nick Hall, who earlier in the year won the 2.0 Giro 9-day event, so we know he's a multi-stage rider. Patrick Rubau in 7th, Walter Claes in 8th, Christophe Contant in 9th, and Joris Scheppers in 10th. So check out RGTDB for all of the results there. It's still very open, ages to go. No rider is out of this yet. As always, there could be mechanicals or technicals. Right, Riley, we know that you've done another preview of the De Ronde course. We'll be dropping a fly-through of that onto Facebook later on this evening. Why don't you talk us through the course, Riley?
Well, De Ronde, what can I say? It's one of the classics. It's a historic course. It's one of the only courses that's been used for 100 years. So the course starts you off quite nice and gently as you drop down into the village and wind peacefully. You might forget that you're actually in a race until that is you turn the corner and get greeted by the Eau de Quermont, which is a beautiful climb. And to make it almost all the more interesting, they've cobbled it for us. It's a great climb with gradients up at around 8%. Softens in the middle before then pushing you up again. And you come off the cobbles thinking that you've finished the climb. And then on the tarmac section, there's another nice 11% spike just to catch you unawares. As you crest the main part of the climbing, you start descending down. Nice descent. There's not too much that will trigger the auto braking. Before then you hit a hard left hand corner and then a right hand corner which completely scrubs any speed that you had, and you're straight into the Paterberg with gradients of 10%, which is then reaching up to 20% as you get towards the top of the Paterberg, and you crest the Paterberg and well, you're finished apart from the next lap. So it's going to be something that'll trigger the big engines. I think that the climbs are something that the big engines will be able to get over more easily than the Formentor climbs, but they're not to be laughed at. They are really challenging.
Yeah, that final climb up the Paterberg, that was right before the finish line as well. So here's Tom Gates. How did you find it, Tom?
Yeah, it was really tough. I tried to follow the first group of the first climb. Halfway up, I was still in the main group, but then I couldn't hold on to the tower. Really blew up and lost a lot of ground there, and never really recovered from that. So just hang on to some wheels, second part of the stage, and make the most of it.
Well, it was a good ride, Tom. I know you're looking forward to some flatter course throughout the week. How are you feeling about the Ronda tomorrow?
David, can you?
So how are you feeling about the Ronda tomorrow?
Yeah, it's very punchy. The climbs are, well, the climb is slightly longer, but even that is basically a couple of short punches. And then the other one is really steep, big effort, and 2 laps of that is going to be really tough. I think we're going to see a lot of splits in the first lap, and then everything gets mixed up again in the second lap, so it's going to be really interesting. And, well, hopefully I can recover from this and do well there.
Well, thanks a lot, Tom. Thanks for your insight. Good luck tomorrow. And you're currently in 34th overall in the series leaderboard, so good job there. And we'll see you on the road tomorrow. Oh, look at me. I'm a bit of a state there. Sweaty ride. Coming myself back up a little bit there.
Yeah, you did great riding there, Mike. Even a little bit of commentary in the middle of it as well, even though you're struggling a little bit for that race.
Back up there, so everyone should be able to check, see how they got on. Yeah, we can see that it's all still pretty close. We designed this series for open some time gaps, but also keep it and chances to move around and for their legs to do that.
Yeah, we've been lucky enough to be able to offer.
Go on, Riley. So just
Sorry,
messing
Mike.
around here in the background, trying to just sort these results out so everyone can go and have a look.
Yeah, so we've been lucky enough to be able to offer some prizes for this series, which we mentioned just briefly during the stream. We're going to have a rider's pick at the end of the race. So if you go over to the RGT users Facebook group, you'll be able to vote in a poll for your rider. And we'll be having the Element Recharge electrolyte drink mix there for those. Randomly selected flavour, some fantastic product, really well reviewed. Lots of magnesium, sodium in there for stopping any cramps that you may have. Really looking forward to working with Element, giving away these prizes. There's also the Giro d'Europa Cup, a very coveted cup, which is available. We're going to be giving away one of those as a prize for the overall winner of the day. We're also going to be available in our shop, which is on vcyclingnews.co.uk. There's offers running all week, so if you're not lucky enough to win during the week, you can go and buy one for yourself. But if you get there soon, then there's offers on postage and there's discounts available as well. Different offer every day in the shop, vcyclingnews.co.uk. Really looking forward to getting some merchandise out to people and to be able to have everyone have a little memento of the event. It's a great series. We're really proud to have been able to put it on.
Yep, so we've got some for the Giro d'Europa and also series on RGT as well. So there's a whole range of different merchandise on there. So some recovery in. I'm going to rest up ahead of tomorrow's race. We've got 3 time slots. Again, BST, midnight, and we're going to be live with the evening broadcast at 7 p.m. I'm going to try and commentate a little bit tomorrow. I think Riley this evening, I wasn't able to lend much to it. That challenging course meant I was digging deep. But Riley, thanks a lot for holding the fort down and putting on some great commentary. I'll leave you just to wrap up. And thanks a lot as well to everyone for watching. Thanks for joining us. And I will see you again tomorrow evening.
So yeah, really looking forward to seeing everybody 7 o'clock tomorrow night, but don't forget there's a 6 o'clock and a 12 o'clock stage. These times are UK times. Put on as many races as we can throughout the day in order to make it accessible for time zones across the world, and it's great to see that they have been used, and we've got riders from Australia and America taking part as well. But yeah, it's really looking forward to seeing some great racing tomorrow night as well. Thanks for taking part tonight. If you've been watching, then please like the Facebook page and follow. If you've been watching on YouTube, then like and subscribe and hit the notification button. Worth noting that if you are on Facebook, if you send a message through the Facebook page, we're able to bring those up on screen. You can mention things that you've seen about the race, you can discuss one of your favourite riders, or give us little tips about what's your best recovery, because I think that's what the problem is for most of these riders now. Going into a 5-day series with a race one being really hard on the legs, it's how you're going to recover and how you're going to recoup that energy for tomorrow's racing. We had a few riders making the decision to take the earlier session races today so that they'd have longer periods of recovery, taking a 7 o'clock race tomorrow, for instance, giving them 12 hours extra of recovery between races. Not many times you can do that in this series, obviously, but that's one of the tips that some of the riders have been putting out there. I know Mike's tucking into his element drink and he'll be going off and having some protein shakes now, making sure that he gets well rested before tomorrow's race. But it's been great having you along, and can't wait to have you here tomorrow. See you tomorrow.